They're the juvenile delinquents of the bear world.
Go on, get!
Pushing boundaries,
Put it down.
defying authority,
You're bad, bear!
and breaking all the rules.
These guys are full-blown knuckleheads.
I need everybody to move this area.
It's critical to teach them right from wrong.
Go on, get! Get!
Bears that don't learn die. Do you understand what's going on?
And it's one man's mission to keep them alive.
It's all right, come on down, let's go.
Steve Searles, the Bear Whisperer.
Get out of there! You bad bear!
You're gonna have to work this out.
This season, one bear causes a public scene.
It's kind of exciting.
Get out of here, go on!
3 bears face down Steve,
No.
while another shocks the entire community.
If the bear's on scene, it'll be shot on sight.
Go now.
I heard a growl.
The unthinkable has happened.
He walked right up in front of me.
A visitor in town has 2 mysterious puncture wounds.
There's 2 on scene right now.
Did one of Steve's bears cross the line?
That kind of thing will get you killed.
What is that right there?
This is the Mammoth Lakes Bear Report. Skies are clear, winds are calm. Looks like another gorgeous day in Mammoth.
Spring in the eastern Sierras. The start of the 6-month feeding season when Mammoth Lake's most celebrated residents make their way back into town.
We've got 2 young bears up in a tree. Not sure what they're gonna do next, but tune in later and we'll let you know.
That's amazing. How cool.
Look at him.
Thousands and thousands of people have seen bears in my community, and I'm proud of it.
I never got this close to a bear.
If you catch a big fish here in Mammoth, you'll tell the story, 10 or 15 times. You see a bear in Mammoth, and you'll repeat that story for the rest of your life.
And the chances of seeing a bear here are good from mid-April to late October when they go back into hibernation. Thanks to Steve, the town successfully coexists with the local bear population all summer long.
Steve has put Mammoth farther ahead than other communities. And I think it's because he's got that on-the-ground, out-of-book experience. Steve does it his way, and he does it based on long years of trial and error.
There's a really long list of successes and bears that are just push-button bears, I call them. Half bib, big red, the big blonde. All those are examples of bears that have not been involved in issues. They're just trouble-free, and they're just a pleasure to have living in our community.
But many bears don't start out this way. Often the biggest challenge for Steve comes from the youngest bears.
What in the world?
They would be the teenagers of the Bear Society, and just like we grew out of those dumb things that we did, they're just in the sharpest part of the learning curve.
Get out of there.
If we were 60 miles out in the wilderness with this same scenario, are those 1 year and year and a half old cubs any smarter? Heck no. They can get in trouble falling out of trees, falling into swift water predators, coyote, other male bears. It's just a matter of learning what is scary and dangerous and what's not.
In the life cycle of a California black bear, cubs are taught by their mothers.
In the spring, the bears will emerge. The females will nurture their young, teaching the young what to eat, how to eat, where to obtain the food. And that's a very critical time for a cub life. After about 1.5 to 2 years, the female will push off the cubs to go find an area or a territory of their own.
If young bears want to live in Mammoth Lakes, they must learn to navigate a human society.
Go on now, get out. Hey, get out of there. Go on, get out. Get out of there.
So Steve often plays the role of surrogate parent.
They don't have the benefit of their mother teaching them, so I'll try to step in and do what I can to help them learn the ways of man.
There you go, let's go.
To teach them, Steve uses a variety of non-lethal techniques.
He can literally yell and scream and just use his voice if need be, bang a baseball bat and scare him in that manner.
Go back.
He also uses what they call flashbangs, that are noise devices that sizzle and whiz as they go past the bear to scare it. And he also, in many cases, will use a rubber bullet, which just gives the bear a good sting and lets him feel like this isn't where I want to be. I'm getting the heck out of here.
You bad bear.
Bears that are a little bit too friendly or getting into garages or stealing out of cars, that kind of thing, I typically spend more time tracking them, following them, reprimanding them.
Hey, what are you doing here? You bad bear.
It's just an ongoing conversation and education for me and the bears. Is that you, Ace? Is that you? One of my most favorite bears and probably one of Mammoth's biggest success stories.
Ace was once the town's most notorious young bear.
Come on, get out of there.
It has broken into as many as 8 or 9 homes. About half of those homes have been occupied.
Police were ordered to shoot Ace on sight.
I'm not willing to compromise a human life to save a bear.
But Steve believed he could turn the young bear around.
What are you doing?
He tried every non-lethal technique he had. Finally, it paid off.
Get out of here.
Hasn't been responsible for a single 911 call in all last year and all so far this year. I'm very glad you're alive.
Every year there's another Ace, but nothing could prepare Steve for the challenge of this season's young bears.
Mono 1, wildlife 1. I'm gonna be out for crowd control.
We're just gonna roll up here to Lincoln House at the village. The last couple of nights,
A young bear was
swimming in the pond, and it makes for a cute story, but it's just not okay. North Village is a multi-story mall setting with lots of restaurants and people and activities. Mono 1, wildlife 1.
Wildlife 111.
It's a small cub in a tree in North Village, and we'll be staying on scene until the bears left the area.
Copy, 10-4.
Could you move back, please? If you interviewed the 200 people that were there, they'd all say it was neat or cute.
It's kind of exciting.
That's for sure.
People aren't intimidated by small bears.
Typically, you know, you'll see people that'll put their kids right up next to the bears, want to take pictures with them. They have this idea that the bears are pets or they're friendly. That's not it. They're actually, you know, they're wild animals. They can be dangerous.
I need everybody to move this area.
When the bear comes down the tree, I'm likely going to shoot him on the ass with a rubber bullet and let him know it's not okay to be with the guests and everybody here having dinner.
An hour later, night is fast approaching. The crowd is growing.
Can you see his face? Yeah.
And the young bear refuses to come down.
As far as bear calls go, this is kind of my worst nightmare. Go now.
He's going to be moving pretty quickly, so we want to make sure that there's a way for the bear to get out, that, you know, we're not going to run him right into some people and get them scared or injured.
He's trying to come down. There's too many people around.
I'm going to stay right here on scene until he touches that grass, and when he does, I'm going to light him up with rubber cock.
It's a 12-gauge rubber slug. Gets shot at him. Doesn't typically break the skin or cause any permanent damage to him. We are backed up on the police department. We have 12-gauge shotguns. If the bear turns and charges Steve or charges into the crowd or becomes a threat to the public, then we're there able to stop that and put the bear down immediately.
He could stay up there for days if he wanted to. He can obviously outlast us. I predict that as the crowd winds down and people are quieter, he'll come down.
Oh, he's coming.
Get out of here.
out of here! You bad bear!
Wow.
It's pretty sound good.
Yes.
Would have scared me back.
Once it hit the ground, he tagged the bear with multiple rubber buckshots, but it's definitely going to get their attention and tell them he probably shouldn't be in here.
Obviously, the bear has learned quite a lesson. I'd much rather fire 4 rounds of rubber, striking the bear, and then have him shot or killed at a later date. If he needs any more education, we can do that for him too, but hopefully that'll be enough for tonight, and we won't have any more issues with this young bear in with a bunch of people. Mono 1, Wildlife 1. I'll be 98 from the call and patrolling the area.
This year's bear season has just begun.
There's 3 bears playing in the pond on the golf course right now.
The 3 young bears are the first to make it into town.
Copy that, thank you.
After a chaotic night with one of them, Steve is on high alert.
They won't be far. All right. All right. Wow. Very cool, man. Oh. Oh, what kind of way is that to come down? The 2 of the bears are siblings. The third, oh, stop. What was that? You're gonna have to practice. The third one is not a litter mate. These 3 bears are just playing and they're not doing anything wrong. I just want them to get into harm's way. When they're roughhousing like this, they forget where they are. Hello, it's the knuckleheads. When it comes to young bears under 2, I don't name them because, you know, statistically half of them are gonna die. And so maybe to preserve my own feelings and preserve the community's feelings, unless it's necessary, I try to not name those young bears until they're after 2. Oh, that's beautiful. There's my paycheck this week. Pretty rough on each other. Those teeth are very, very sharp. And even though they look like a teddy bear or something, they can inflict harm. It's all part of the learning process for these bears and the pecking order that they're gonna slowly grow into. There you go. Beat them up. Beat them up. Hello. Oh. You know, I see the most worst stuff in my life, and then I see the coolest stuff, and it makes me feel weird sometimes, and this is really, really cool, and fills my heart, you know. It makes me want to go out and help the little guys even more. Hello. Hello. You're all right. I don't know who's babysitting who sometimes. Probably a 50-50. The bears help me as much as I help them. That's a pretty fair deal. What is it? What is it? Uh-oh. They are arguing. Is that trash? It. Hey, you guys, put it down. Hey. No, 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 no. No.
One of the most important lessons for these young bears to learn is to stay away from unnatural foods.
Put it down. No trash. No. No. No, no, no. Get out of there. No. Look at it all over your face. Move away. For brains. It's some kind of... turkey breast skins. That's not what's in here. It smells like ranch dressing. That's what it is. We gotta keep
human food out of bears because it draws a connection between the people and then the food source. And so the bear does become conditioned to come back for that same food source.
But even after being chased off, the bears are back and willing to defy Steve to get what they want.
No. Knock it off. Move away. Move away. How dare you? No. You guys need to learn. Go over there and get in the tree. Go on. Go on. You've worn out your welcome. No. Do not challenge people for food. They're testing their boundaries. No.
Two of the young bears back away, but the third bear returns. To send the message that this behavior will not be tolerated, Steve stands by with pepper spray.
Part of my job is cruel to be kind, to educate that bear that this has got to stop. This stuff works great. They don't like it one single bit, and hopefully that'll teach them a lesson for today. Don't be challenging me or anybody else over a food source at all. That is absolutely off limits.
It's a lose-lose situation for the bear. When the bear has unnatural food sources that it relies on, it becomes more aggressive, it gets closer to humans more often, and unfortunately it may result in the loss of a bear life, which is one thing we're trying to avoid at all costs here in Mammoth.
During bear season, Steve works 7 days a week and is on call 24 hours a day.
Probably my strongest thing I have in my life is my wife and my son. Just a hug from my son or a hug from my wife means a lot to me.
I have been in Mammoth since 1985. I met Steve through friends. I used to see him at parties and stuff.
Behind every great man is a greater woman. I get the applause and all the thank yous, and my wife does everything that makes my lifestyle possible.
On the agenda this morning, helping Steve maintain his distinctive mountain man look.
Been trimming Steve's beard for maybe close to 20 years. The last time he shaved and had a haircut was on our wedding day 20 years ago.
20 or 16 days and 3 hours.
And
knock it up, hon. A trim, please.
my dad actually gave him the haircut. I think Steve was more nervous getting his haircut by my dad than actually getting married. Steve's routine in bear season is like a puppy or a dog or a kid. Comes home when he's thirsty and hungry.
Thanks, hon.
Oh, hang on, I see a couple of strays already.
4 weeks into the feeding season, the 3 young bears are now venturing out individually, looking for food.
There's 2 things that a bear goes through. They're wandering about the woods looking for whatever they can encounter during their normal course of action. But if they encounter something new, they'll still try it.
My neighbor just called and there's a bear, so we're gonna go take a look.
A bear can smell food 3 miles away, and one of the young bears is drawn to a picnic table in a residential neighborhood. When Steve arrives, the bear is gone.
Look at all this garbage. Holy cow. Wow. Oh, these people are just pigs. It looks like some pizza boxes and stuff.
My neighbors were so irresponsible and disrespectful that they left all their garbage out, and the bear was hooking into it, and it just breaks my heart. You know, I love the bears, and it's just the epitome of the struggle I face every day.
All this trash needs to be picked up. The bear's been standing here eating the. You can clean up up right now.
People make a bad bear, actually, by allowing them to become habituated to our food and trash and other things. So it's really a people problem.
20 minutes later,
Hello.
the same bear has been spotted less than a mile away.
We'll be on our way. No. Get out of there. Get out of there. Go on now. Get. Knock it off. Hi. We just followed him up here and seen him in your trash. Is there somewhere I could lock this up? It's full. The people that live in Mammoth will tolerate more from the bears than I will. I know the bears individually, and when they mess up or at the wrong place at the wrong time, I really take it personally. I don't want them to have that extra strike against them.
The young bear has backed himself into a corner.
A bear! A bear!
He's now between apartment buildings and a busy highway.
He doesn't belong in this situation. He can see the traffic, the cars going by. We want him to be uncomfortable. We want him to have a bad time. He can't be hanging out in the middle of the day on the main street of Mammoth, or we'll end up picking him off the road, or he'll get himself into other trouble. Hey, we're not gonna chase the bear. We're not gonna do that.
It's right there.
Hey. Leave this one alone. I'm gonna have to get a lot more heavy-handed with the young bear. The more time that we're on him, just like a child or a dog, the repetitious reprimanding of bears that sometimes is necessary. I'm 100% sure that I'll be working with the bear again, if not today, tomorrow.
Bears remember locations where they've been successful finding food. So the next day, Steve returns to the same area the bear had gotten into trouble. Sure enough, the young bear is back.
There he is. Damn it. No trash. Get out of there. Hey, get out of there. Hey, no trash. How dare you? No. Go on. Get out of there. You bad bear. I barely lit him up with a little bit of rubber buckshot and let him know, that you're welcome to be here, but only on our rules. And that's what I do. I spank.
But there are 3 young bears this season, and Steve can't be everywhere at once.
These small bears that we work with every year, they can be a handful. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes our town to raise these silly little bears.
As the feeding season heats up, Steve gets busier.
A single round deployed out on Sierra Star for just a bear grazing near the tourist.
By midsummer, he patrols day and night, looking for things that might get his bears into trouble. Like open dumpsters.
Well, I just pulled up, and this is the first one I found. When you hook this little guy, the bear, with all his might, can't break this chain. And so, unhooked, it's easily opened and defeated. We'll just see, maybe the trash company just emptied it. Nope, it's got trash in it. And so there is the problem. Leaving the dumpster unlocked is just no good. And is there a connection between feeding bears in a town and getting them shot? There really is. Don't ever feed a bear where you don't want them to come back to.
Feeding bears certainly does happen. It's important for people to understand that it's not something that's allowed under town law in the town of Mammoth Lakes, under state law or under federal law. It puts them at risk. It's habituating them to an unnatural situation. It's making it comfortable for them to get close to people. It can lead to that bear's destruction.
Steve is called out to the local town yard to help a man who's in a standoff with a bear.
A guy's down at the town fuel pumps who's asking for me in particular to come down, that the bear is not moving away from him and the gas pumps so that he could refuel.
The local town yard, where police cars and buses are serviced, is only blocks away from the industrial dumping yards. When Steve arrives, the bear is gone.
What'd the bear look like?
He wasn't that big.
Uh-huh.
But he just like right up between this rock and this small tree where that light pointing out where he just went.
Yeah.
But he sat right here for the longest time until as soon as you pull in is when he took off.
Steve spots trash on the hillside. And more unlocked dumpsters.
What the friggin' heck? You can't blame that on tourists.
This is just the epitome of the struggle I face every day. To see them eating unnatural food and people being irresponsible can lead to more and more problems.
By the height of the season, the big bears have moved into the most desirable feeding areas, pushing out the smaller bears. And sometimes, the smaller bears resort to dangerous measures to get what they want.
It's the condominium project, and it's been reported that the bears are hopping the fences and getting into the trash cans. Uh-oh. There he is. There he is, running with trash in front of the car. It's going to be a really small bear, dark head, and kind of a light-colored cape. And it does look like a female.
Steve gets a closer look. This is far more serious than just a bear foraging through trash.
It just blew out the window of that car.
Breaking into cars is exactly the kind of bad behavior that, if left unchecked, can lead to a bear losing its life.
I want the bear to reapproach and hop in that car again. I'll teach her a lesson that she'll never, ever forget. Yeah, I can see it from here, and it's going to re-enter the car.
Before he can deal with the bear, Steve is distracted.
Look at all these folks.
You're going to tranquilize it?
No. Nobody does that in California. The bear can either live here and have good manners or won't live at all. So what I do is teach bears and teach them good respect for people in situations they shouldn't be in.
So how do you?
Rubber bullets, pyrotechnics, flashbang devices, pepper spray, all kinds of different devices. Not just to scare them, but to teach them what they're not allowed to do and what they're allowed to do. Yeah.
So where did it go? Did you see it? Or did
I don't know, but I didn't realize you were standing here, and I'm glad I did.
Once Steve is assured the group will stay where they are, he goes back to look for the bear.
The bear's right there.
He went back into where the bear had hidden, and next thing we know, we hear like 3 or 4 big, loud bam, 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 bam.
Get out of here! Go on, get!
The girls are freaking out, and we're kind of scared.
You bad bear, get!
The rounds that I fired were all non-lethal. The first rounds struck the bear. The other rounds did not, but sure lets the bear know this is not a good thing to be doing. You bad bear!
After running the bear off, Steve finds a candy wrapper.
Chocolate.
That leads him to a trail of food left in the car.
We can see bagels on the floor, water, drinks. They're really lucky they didn't have more damage than this. They had both windows down a little bit with the doors locked, and so the bear just pulled on it one time and popped it.
I mean, we learned a valuable lesson ourselves to just kind of, keep our cars clean.
Immediately I tell my kids, go clean your cars out, take everything out of it.
all the candy, any soda, anything else. So they did.
We're going to continue to patrol the area. This car owner gets the free sticker. And they're not going to get fined for feeding bears. I think that the damage that's done says enough for that. Hello. Yes? We'll be on our way. Thank you. A friend of mine just called me, and a young cub is in his backyard. We're just going to run up there and see which bear it is.
The homes in Mammoth butt up against the forest, and many of the residents like to document the bears in town.
To me, they're like the spirit of the forest. I call them the spirit of the forest because they're so quiet. I mean, you can be walking and not even realize they're there. One of the reasons we have so many bears in this particular area is we have everything here that the bears need to live. We have the woodland where they can get privacy and sleep back here, which they do, and can get away from people and other bears and have a peaceful existence.
But this young bear hasn't come here to relax.
He's trying to figure out how to get that bird feeder down.
Birdseed is very nutritious. The seeds are packed with fats and oils that they require, as well as protein. They readily will take to it and enjoy it immensely. It's almost like ice cream to them.
People in Mammoth are encouraged to get the bird feeders so that the bears can't get to them, because they potentially could associate bird feeders with homes and houses. So what we've done is we've strung wire between pine trees, a long run of wire up very high. He then ended up going to a neighbor's house. And she just happened to have set her bird feeders up out on branches, hoping that the bear couldn't reach out far enough to grab them. Actually just grabbed it and crunched it in half.
Go on, get up there. Go on. Go on, get. Go on, get. That's the crack cocaine of a bear's life, is this silly bird food. Ah, get! He moved out of the area respectfully. He's done what he was supposed to. He's back in the deep woods. Everything's good again.
Steve takes the opportunity to reinforce the young bear's obedient behavior.
Are you starting to learn? The monotone I use with the bears lets them know whether or not he's on my terms or we're on his terms. And I'm laying on the ground, I'm being submissive to him. He's out in the thick forest, he's under the canopy. He's in no trouble at all. I compare it to raising my son, or even when I have to reprimand my son, I'm loving on him the very next minute. These bears can understand that exact same principle. All right. All right. As long as the bear does the right thing, then we're back to the relationship that we were having before that incident. All right. Sleepy.
This bear seems to finally be learning how to live in town, but there are still 2 other bears who have a long way to go.
Thank you very much for calling. I'll be en route right now.
One of the young bears has really crossed the line.
This morning, I woke up to a bunch of racket and realized that the bear had actually squeezed itself through this little window. I didn't even know that this window was opened, and as soon as the bear squeezed out, it actually turned around and tried to go back in. So bear strips are down.
She had assembled nail boards to put outside of her windows and doors to keep the bear from standing up on its back legs and hopping in the window.
And the unfortunate thing is that the bear has been rewarded by coming in my house, so essentially my house is kind of like a calling card at this point. think also the fact that my house is in proximity to this campground doesn't really help too much either.
If that bear comes today, call me immediately.
Yeah, I will.
All right.
Breaking into homes is a serious offense. Steve needs to find the bear and teach him a lesson, fast. He heads to the nearby campground. The bear has taken refuge in a tree.
The dogs put him up there. Anytime a bear is afraid or concerned or hears a loud noise, he's going to tree every time. And being at this age, they spend half of their day up in the tree.
Oh, look at him. How cool.
Look at him put his chin up on his head.
As long as I keep him up there, part of the punishment, all these people that have been gathered around, the dogs that were here on scene, it makes them very uncomfortable.
And keeping the bear uncomfortable is the plan. It's the only way to teach the bear that being around people is dangerous.
I feel sorry.
I do.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
All right, you guys, everybody get a photo? Yep. All right, thank you. Have a good night. Make sure your camp is clean, okay? Check your cars, make sure there's no food. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Once the crowd is cleared, Steve focuses all his energy on the bear and getting him out of the tree.
It's all right, come on down, let's go.
To move the bear, Steve mimics the sound a sow would make to her cub.
It's a very guttural tone that comes down below her throat. I'll use that to calm young bears. I've done it so many times with so many bears.
As the bear moves down, Steve approaches the tree armed with pepper spray, a potent aerosol that overwhelms the senses but wears off quickly.
Come on. Come on. Poor little guy, I don't want to hurt him, but this has got to end.
The bear bites into a tree branch, signaling his level of anxiety.
So we're just playing cat and mouse. He's going to try to come down again right now. It is nasty, nasty stuff. I hate to... That's some nasty stuff. The bears hate it. He really... There was a little puff of wind right then, and so we got a little back spray. But yeah, the bears have to learn that people are mean. They'll spray them, they'll run them over with their cars, they'll kill them, they'll shoot them, they'll entrap them. And he doesn't get it, but he just has to learn, or he'll die.
Since the pepper spray missed the bear, Steve must try again.
I'll stand here for as long as it takes. I'll do it for days or weeks.
This time, he stands by with a shotgun loaded with rubber buckshot.
Come on. Go on, get! You bad bear! Go on, get! Just the noise of the shotgun racking, it's all a non-lethal deterrent for the bear. Like a dog or a child, Hopefully he can learn and become a member of our community, and these problems won't be an issue.
Ten weeks into the season, the big bears have moved in and the younger bears are pushed out of the prime feeding areas. The 3 young bears Steve has been working with are staying out of trouble, at least for now.
7, next 76, roger.
Steve gets a late-night bear call for a shocking incident unlike anything he's encountered before.
What happened right here?
One injured victim with 2 puncture wounds to the right arm.
A wounded man claims he was knocked over by a small bear.
They got knocked over, and then when did you realize that you had a hole in your arm?
Oh, it was sore, so I just took off my I had a jacket on, I just took the jacket and I noticed that my shirt was bloody.
Did he bite you on?
I don't know what it is. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to, because there's no real puncture wounds in the.
Sure looks like a puncture.
Huh?
Well, this one here.
No, through the jacket. This is just a scratch, I think.
It's Dawn, huh?
Yeah.
Thank you, Dawn. I appreciate your patience, but this is really concerning to us.
But I really do think I spooked him.
He's come for the arts festival, and he is selling his wares, which is pottery, and this event happened.
I was just walking down here from the restrooms, right? And I came across right here, and I heard a growl. And I turned, I don't even know which way I turned, and then that's when he just, boom, hit me.
It could be that he startled the bear or frightened the bear. The bear was just bowling him over to get out of harm's way.
And then after he hit you, I hit the table. I slammed into the table and fell down. That's
Where do you think you hit the table?
Where did I?
Here,
my
right?
arm.
Yeah. We need to get him down to the medics.
The man's description and the mysterious puncture wounds don't add up.
A lot of times they push. They could have stabbed him. Could have just been a stab.
I think it's a canine bite.
Yeah.
Paramedics arrive on scene and confirm Steve's suspicions.
He told me that they're 3/8 of an inch deep, and it's a bite and not a claw mark. Serious.
I haven't seen a bear bite up here. It's the first one. Usually they run away. They seem to get a little more aggressive.
And that behavior is not tolerated by anyone in the town of Mammoth Lakes.
If the bear's on scene in just the next 30 minutes, he'll be shot on sight.
The one that attacked the guy.
But identifying the bear responsible isn't easy.
We don't use collars or ear tags or telemetry on our bears, and so I'd hate to see the wrong bear shot right now. The RP is describing a small, dark, 150-pound bear that would be one of the knuckleheads. These bears are very, very powerful, and what they would do just to nip you would cause an injury like that.
Police are on the lookout for any bear that matches the description of the young bears.
We had already made that decision that if we could locate that bear in a timely manner, that bear was going to be taken out. And we would be justified in doing so. People versus animals, you know, I go on the side of people every time.
The bear returns to where the event happened. We'll hear the shot. He'll shoot the bear immediately.
This thing charges me. I'm going to open it up with beanbags. And Jesse, I expect you'll be right behind me.
We have a local officer with probably 5 or 6 rounds on non-lethal beanbags. The other officer is a marksman training officer that is on scene with a high-powered rifle. And if the bear returns to where the event happened, he'll shoot the bear immediately.
While police officers patrol the area, Steve investigates what might have provoked the bear.
That's the attraction right there.
A snack bar vendor from the arts festival left out food.
This is just these people come from out of town, and this is just prime food for the bears here. And so they bait them in, and somebody got hurt tonight. This is flour, sugar, granulated garlic, coconut milk. This is what started the whole thing. The bear was taking advantage of that food source, and as the gentleman was walking through the venue in the middle of the night, he scared the bear. The bear only had one way out. That guy, unfortunately, was in his way and was knocked over and ended up with 2 holes in his arm.
Steve and the police comb the area, but the bear is nowhere to be found.
The mess still hasn't been cleaned up. The food's still on site, but the bear wasn't seen directly after the event. As every hour ticks by, he will buy himself time on this earth.
We waited for the bear to return and kind of cruised the area, and it was gone.
"24 hours after a man suffered a rare bear bite, he's okay. Steve returns to the site, determined to not have a repeat incident.
This is ground zero. This is where it all occurred last night. The gentleman who was nipped by the bear is right here behind me, and I think I owe him at least that to make sure a bear doesn't come anywhere near here tonight.
And it doesn't take long for Steve to spot a bear nearby.
I'm gonna turn my light on him and walk up a few feet, and I'm gonna hopefully shoot him multiple times for even being here. If this other young bear comes here, I'm gonna treat him the same way too.
Get out of here!
We fired off some rubber rounds to let the bear know to run away from people. Mono 1, Wildlife 1. I fired 3 more non-lethal rounds at the same location in case you get a call.
Copy, 3 non-lethal.
And I dare say the bear, won't be back very soon.
It is my belief to this day that as that bear was ricocheting off the guy, that he did nip him in the arm. The bear didn't return. It was just a freak collision in the middle of the night.
The bear bite remains an isolated incident. In the weeks following that night, Steve continued to carefully monitor the 3 young bears. Today, all are alive and well, thanks to Steve and his dedication.
I see things that are magical. They are the most positive images that anybody could witness, and maybe an hour later, I have to go to calls that, gosh, are not good at all.
We okay? We gonna work together tomorrow? All right, go back to sleep if you agree. Mono 1, Wildlife 1.
Wildlife 1, Mono 1.
I'll be en route right now, then I'll be on scene just in a moment.